Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle. I am not joined by my two co-hosts tonight. Mike Reed has a family emergency, and Mike Hall got his second vaccination, and it's really kicking his butt, so they won't be joining us. But I am joined by not only one, but two special guests. My boy, Corey Sanchez, the lightning rod from down south. My dude, Corey, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Kyle. Can't complain. What's up, Rio?
What's going on, man?
I couldn't give the introduction to Rio that you deserve, sir. I wanted to say, what's up, Rio, and congratulations, a new fan ambassador. We're here with a celebrity, Corey.
I know, right? We're not worthy, man. I'm the only one. I'm the only one that hasn't been recognized by the team. So, y'all, I'm not worthy. So I'm humbled to be in y'all's presence. So.
I appreciate y'all so much, man. This is really cool. I'm not 100% sure of what's going on yet, but I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm glad to join y'all both tonight, man. Y'all do great work.
Corey's acting like he's not royalty. This man has a 37,000 view video. Come on now.
Don't do that to me, Kyle.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you got 2,000 subscribers. Don't be modest, man.
Right. All right, everybody. We have a great show lined up for you. This episode is called Fun in the Sun, and that's all we're going to have here. We're going to have a bunch of roundtable discussions about the latest news with the team. We're going to answer fan questions. We got a new segment that we're going to unload called the Freestyle that we're going to have later for you in the episode with fan suggestions. But the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is Terry McLaurin had an interview today, and he talked about that he worked out with Doug Baldwin in the offseason. I personally love it. I wanted to hear what you guys thought.
Go ahead first, Corey.
Hey, man, Doug Baldwin, who was pretty much Russell Wilson's number one target for years out there in Seattle and was consistent and has a quick release. What can you not like about this? This is something that we know what Terry is, and he is polishing up on what he is as a wide receiver to be that number one wide receiver that folks want to see. So I love it, man. Anything you can do, it's kind of like you know when you go out there and you're a teacher or something, you go to conferences. That's a wide receiver conference. Yeah. You're learning from an expert. He went to the Doug Baldwin track right there.
And that's perfect. I mean, I absolutely love this, not only because I was a fan of Doug Baldwin. I always drafted him in fantasy. But the fact is, like, Doug Baldwin doesn't have the height or the natural ability just to straight up beat guys. You know, Doug Baldwin beat guys off the line with his footwork and is having the mental kind of game on the chess match of knowing where to go when it's needed. And if Terry has that in his arsenal, he's almost unstoppable at this point, in my opinion. That's why I love it, because if he can get it from Doug Baldwin, I don't think anyone could stop this guy. What about you, Rio?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, cause Doug Baldwin was a dog. Like he had that grit that Steve Smith and Santana Moss played with, where he's not the biggest, not the most athletic, doesn't have the most size on the field, but he just wins off pure grit, determination, and just the dog inside of him. Terry is already a technician as a route runner, so refining his toolkit with someone like Doug Baldwin, you can't go wrong. And I think he's ready to dominate, knowing that he actually has someone on the roster that can consistently put the ball in his hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Rio. And that being said, speaking of Terry, not sure if you guys saw this, but the NFL Top 100 wide receivers came out today on Twitter. I saw it on social media. Terry McLaurin is not on that list. There's guys like Tyler Lockett in front of him. There's Odell Beckham is on that list. How is he not on that list, Rio?
That list. So is that the official league on Top 100, or is that, because I think I see a name like Pete Prisco associated with it. So is that's not the list from the players. That's like his personal list, right?
I'm not sure. You're educating me right now.
All right, because I saw the name Pete Prisco associated with it, and if that's the case, then I'm going to take that shit with a grain of salt. But there's no way Terry's not top 100. I think we could be a little high on our players here sometime, but Terry McLaurin is good enough with no quarterbacks to still give you 1,000 and over 5 touchdowns a season. So it is absolutely disrespectful, especially I love Odell, but Odell didn't really play last year. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of just like association with what team he plays for. They're still counting us out. They're still disrespecting us. So we got to earn that respect to get that national notoriety.
Yeah, dude.
That's all it has to be.
This is like one of those things that like whenever we have the MVP discussion like for the league, this is one of the things I cannot stand about these type of things where we don't take into consideration the people around the player and what the player brings to the team and how important they are, which by definition is the most valuable player. But with Terry, I guess Pete's not taking into consideration the dude, like you said, had over 1,000 yards receiving, Rio, with 4 different quarterbacks throwing him the football. That is
a dumpster fire.
Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of for a wide receiver to do that. So, look, I know Pete is like a friend of the local media, and usually he's pretty good with the Washington football team, but that list is putrid.
That I mean, y'all look at it too with Terry. Terry had 2 bad legs and amassed 1,100 yards. Yeah. Like that's what like the grit and determination in a world of diva wide receivers.
Right.
We have a guy who shuts up and does his job and doesn't complain and produces all the time. And yet you cannot give him the credit that he deserves. And like you said, we could have thrown touchdown passes to Terry McLaurin, and we could
pretty much
a one-day contract. We like that guy at the Wizards game who might get a contract for Washington
the security guard.
Team. Yes, bum arm Corey, 300 pounds of him throws a touchdown to Terry McLaurin. I can see it. I can see it this this year or maybe 2 years ago, but dude, I just Pete Prisco, he kind of grinds my gears. Going back to 2015 when he only thought we were going to win 2 games.
Right.
What happened there?
And won the division, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I wanted to let you guys know, I'm sorry if we haven't said this already, but this is a historic joint pod. Basically what happened is I reached out to Rio to come on. He was already going on Corey's show, and I said, look, guys, why don't we just combine? Corey can stream at the same time that we're recording. Why not, right? So and this is a great episode. I told you guys on Twitter, this is going to be on steroids just because of Rio and Corey. This is going to be crazy, your energy clash.
That's the power of social media, baby.
Nope.
You hit up one person, he's available. You hit up another person. We're all putting out content. I love it.
Absolutely love it. And we're joined by the celebrity of Rio, which is fantastic. But speaking of celebrities, I'm not sure if you guys caught the video of Rivera mic'd up at camp in court. What did you think of Coach's mic'd up moment?
The the Landon Collins moment. How you doing? And then the cut, it was just a dry cut. It wasn't transition or anything. And then when he was working with Keith Ishmael too, telling him like the one thing I was very interested in seeing. Ron is a defensive minded coach.
Right.
They had him with a lot of the offensive, with the offensive staff, the quarterbacks, the linemen, and he just looks like he's just excited to be out there. And but that Landon Collins moment, that got me. I was just like, I said, look at our future linebacker over there.
Don't ruffle those feathers out, Corey. But for me, dude, I loved the interaction between Coach with Tim Settle and Casey Tuhill.
Yes.
Because he's talking to him, he's saying, like, get his hands off your waist. This is what you got to do. And then he talked to Tim again. I think the great thing about Rivera is, like, you can tell that he's genuine when he's talking to them. It's not like he's talking down to them. He's telling you, hey, this is what you can do to help you, which is the best way to coach, in my opinion. What about you, Rio?
Mm-hmm.
For me, my biggest takeaway, one, I love to see the content. Julie Donaldson and the media crew, please keep churning it out. The transparency and the access that we get to this team, it's nothing like we've ever seen here as fans. But my biggest takeaway was Ron looks good. He looks healthy this year. Yeah. He looks happy. His skin looks good. He's out there running around and moving with the players. It's a whole different vibe. He gave us everything he had last season, but you could tell he was a little bit off. I love to see my coach back with a full pep in his step, just talking shit, cutting up with the play. I love it. And I love to see Coach Rivera recovering, and he beat cancer's ass, and you love to see it.
Yeah, and I guess I just love the fact, because when you're a head coach, you're generally like, you look over everything, right? You're responsible for everyone being in position, and you allow your position coaches to coach. But seeing him still giving out pointers to the offensive line, defensive line, Corey, I think, like you said, that speaks a lot to Ron because he's a defensive guy. But look at him sitting over here talking to the offensive line guy, telling him what they want to do. So Ron Rivera, man, I can't thank him enough for coming here. Seriously, like, where would we be if he didn't if he wasn't hired? Seriously.
Probably at the club with number 7 or number 3 in Pittsburgh. So, but y'all talk about that, and even him with Randy Jordan at the beginning of that. He's like,
I'm 5-0. I'm 5-0.
He said, "Oh, it's your birthday?" He's like, no,
I got a hot mic, man.
He's thank you.
I saw somebody on Twitter say that Randy Jordan lost some points for that one.
Right.
Like, how the brother on the coaching staff don't know what 5-0 is?
Him and Katz are the only holdovers. Katz might be the only holdover after that one.
Ron Rivera's like, nah, that's cool, dude.
I also noticed that Ron's smile with Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's very refreshing. He knows he has a quarterback that can at least run the structure of the offense, move both of his legs around, and put the ball on the hands of receivers and not over the skybox. So you could tell.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys have caught Scott Turner's interview with the media. I believe it was yesterday or today. But he had that one comment about that they have to open up the offense. They have to target downfield. I mean, thank goodness that you're actually publicly saying it. I mean, if you didn't, I would kind of judge you differently. But does that catch you by surprise at all, Corey?
A little bit. I think the one thing that caught me by surprise is him talking about, we're going to have more trick plays in there.
Yeah.
And I said, don't give away the whole kitty. Don't give away the whole turkey before Thanksgiving comes up. So I was. It's like Captain Obvious, right. Duh, because this offense is, and it was hindered because of the quarterback play. Of course, you go through 4 quarterbacks, and there's not continuity in your 2 offensive playmakers. They were hurt as well. Gibson at the end of the season, and Terry McLaurin, like I said, on 2 bad legs. But, I think Scott Turner is going to be pretty good this year, and Jane won't stop this crazy thing. So I'm looking forward to Scott in year 2.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is it wasn't like the vibes of where with Wizards head coaches when they get hired and they say, we got to get better on defense, but nothing ever happens. With Scott Turner, him saying that we have to target downfield more, you've seen what they did in the offseason, getting Ryan Fitzpatrick, who does throw the ball deep, going to get Diami Brown, who averaged 20 yards per catch last season. And they were literally the bottom 3rd team in the yards per attempt last season. So so I like Scott saying that. Obviously, it's Captain Obvious, but it doesn't feel empty like Wizards head coaches saying they want to play better defense.
I mean, I like us just keeping it real. Like Scott saw what we saw on TV last year when a lot of fans were ready to throw Scott out the window last year. I'm sitting here like, look at the hand he was dealt at quarterback. Dwayne Haskins is one of the worst prospects in the last 10 to 15 years. Whether someone wants to admit that or not, this guy's mechanics are terrible. I'm pretty positive I can throw a better drag route than he will. You got to see what he was working with. Give Scott a chance. The little bit of Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke that we saw, we actually got to see Scott getting his bag with the offense. A little bit with Alex Smith, but not as much as they really could because he wasn't as mobile as they want. And they want a quarterback that can at least move around some. So I think with Fitzy or Heineke, they're going to be able to achieve exactly what he wants with the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit that right on the head. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Michael Phillips of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, I talked about this on Tuesday, but he came out with an article saying that he thinks that Taylor should start the season. And because Ryan Fitzpatrick has proven he's good off the bench, and if things go awry later on in the season when the last 5 divisional games at the end of the season starts getting out of awry, they can plug in Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he can do well off the bench. Corey, do you agree with Michael Phillips with that assessment?
Absolutely not. Because what did we just come out of? We're already talking about switching out quarterbacks already.
Not even at camp yet.
Exactly. We're not at camp, but we talking about switching out these quarterbacks. It makes no sense. I get and I understand. I'm not a Fitzpatrick fan. I'm really not a fan of any of these quarterbacks. I'm just like, Eddie Murphy after being in the desert, it's just a regular cracker after a couple of days, right? But but it's good. It's a saltine, premiums, whatever.
I thought you were talking about me.
No, God, no. Oh, God. That's cold-blooded. Hey, you wrong. You wrong for that. You wrong for that.
That's my read joke.
We got Fitzy, right? And you don't pay this man $12 million just for him to sit on the bench and ride the pine.
Right.
Taylor gave us one good game where the Bucks were not prepared for him, and we played the Panthers. So I don't really agree with him, but I know what Mike's doing. He's doing what we're doing right now. He created a conversation.
Exactly.
And that's good journalism. That's going to get him at the Post one day.
Yes, it is. And I understand his thought process with it is, but I really feel like if you're going into the season and your starting quarterback is not somebody that you envision playing all 16 games, that they probably shouldn't be your starting quarterback.
17
Yeah, that's
17 now. Sorry, excuse me.
We're all trying to adjust. We are all trying to adjust.
Yeah, so I like his viewpoint with it because it does make sense. It does, get you a little bit interested in it. But the fact being is that the starter of the week 1 should be the starter for all 17 games. In my personal opinion, I hope Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't let that go, but you never know what's going to happen. Because like you said, Corey, all those injuries last season, 4 different quarterbacks, the last thing we need to be doing is going into the season expecting the rotation again.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. I see where he's coming from.
Right.
Because look, Heineke is 28 years old?
Yep.
He's an unproven journeyman commodity. We know he was taking triple algebra in December, a couple weeks before our playoff game. But he did show us some things, and he's actually bulked up, which is nice to see, even though bodies don't make you improve. Ask Mr. Haskins. But Taylor showed me enough that I actually do want to see him play again. And it'll be interesting in camp if old man Fitzy gets some veteran days off and Heineke runs with the ones and he lights it up, because I don't see old man Fitz magic playing much in the preseason. The preseason is going to be the Taylor Heineke show. So we will know at some point this summer if there's any reason he should start. We will all know and we will all see it. So, and at the end of the day, his age and upside gives us some type of potential. Like maybe there's something there, and if there is, we need to know. Right. So I understand that aspect.
Yeah, and that aspect makes a whole lot of sense to me, and I totally get that. The only caveat I have to it is that's when you test it out in preseason. You don't test out what do we have in Taylor to start the season. And that's why I've always said there needs to be a competition at training camp. Let's see what Taylor has, because Mitch Tischler, we had on Tuesday, said it perfectly. He said, Ryan Fitzpatrick has proven that he can come off the bench. We know who Ryan Fitzpatrick is. Taylor Heineke, we don't really know. He keeps getting injured every time he starts a game. So don't you want to see what his capability is before you move on to Fitzy? But I don't like that thinking. I'd rather that be in training camp than the first game of the season. I think you're playing with fire at that point.
Right. And Kyle, you bring up that key thing. We do know what Taylor Heineke is. A guy who is often injured, who had an opportunity in Carolina against Atlanta, got hurt. What did Ron call him? Clubber Lang the other day. Because he got nicked in the elbow. Yeah. He
had the eye patch. Yeah,
he had the eye patch and everything. So I'm like, is preseason going to be the Taylor show, or is this the Taylor timetable? That's what it's going to be as the Taylor turns come preseason, because
that's a hell of an elbow too, to give you stitches on your forehead.
He said somebody's somebody's mama or something. That's exactly what he had to.
I was about to say that there had to be Chase Young, because Chase Young goes 100 miles an hour every time he's on the field, but obviously he wasn't there. Now the next one I have is Brandon Sheriff. His quote regarding Sam Cosmi when he met Sam Cosmi. He said he was working out. And Sam Cosmi comes up to me and says, "Holy shit, where did you come from?" And seriously, I know that is an endorsement in itself, but to have Brandon Sheriff say that to you, I think that is quite the endorsement. What do you think, Corey?
By Morgan Moses. Morgan who? That's what I'm thinking. Cosmi, if you look at his tape, the dude's athletic. He had he could probably play tight end in a goal line package if he needed him.
No, seriously.
No lie.
He took that trick play for a touchdown in college.
Yeah, screen play that was 20 yards. So you can put him in the red zone. Put him in a red zone package or something. And put him in. Matsko might need him in the not Matsko, but Hainer might need him in the tight end room for all we know. But that is a heck of an endorsement from your all pro, just a guard, all pro. And but no, I think it's great, man. And Cosmi is, I think him And John Bates, off topic, steals of the draft potentially.
There you go. That's what I like to hear, because we got some fan questions with that in mind there, Corey. And I agree. I totally do agree. It's a huge endorsement from Brandon Sheriff, because like one thing he said is that he was very fast in everything that he was doing on the practice field, which goes to your point of with the screen and trick play. I would love to see that. I'm just worried to see where Cosme's going to be, because there's so many question marks regarding the offensive line. Sadiq Charles, is he possibly going to play left tackle, or is he going to start at left guard? Eric Flowers going to take that job? Offensive line is in shambles right now. What do you think, Rio? What do you think the offensive line is going to look like?
I think Cosme, back to the endorsement from Cher, I think Cosme is going to start at right tackle for us this year. I think he's going to start opposite Charles Leno Sr. on the left side. And I think Ron knew it when they drafted him, that they wanted to see him on the field right away. But then he got that validation at rookie minicamp and saw him up close, and he said, peace, Morgan. Like, it was real. It was nice knowing you for a year. Thank you for your service. We got a young stud. We're about to kick into this lineup. I see the offensive line. I see Rouye on his right side, Sheriff and Cosme on his left side, Flowers and Leno. But Sadiq Charles, based on his health, if he can start to get into the lineups and not be on the side practice field sometime, then we can actually talk about him being in a starting lineup. But I need to see 2 weeks of non-missed practices or no side field in camp this summer before I could put him in any spot. But Ron, they like what they have here with Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles. They like what they have here depth-wise, Heath Ishmael. So they know what they're doing here. They're not just waking up one day, I don't want Morgan Moses anymore. They don't operate like that. We need to give them the benefit of the doubt of these things and stop attaching ourselves to players, especially players that did not contribute to any reasonable success here. That's how I feel about the O-line.
To keep it with you, Rio, because you brought up depth on the offensive line. So I wanted to ask you before I go to Corey, do you think that, are you concerned at all with the quality of the depth on the offensive line now that Morgan Moses and Jaron Christian were let go?
I'm not concerned with the depth, because Jaron Christian is a Jag, and that might be embellishment for him.
I think that was he was expected. I guess I mean more with Morgan.
Yeah, with Morgan. I mean, I like the depth. We have young, unproven players there, but the word depth, it actually exists here. That moment we had with Kirk Cousins a couple seasons ago where he was meeting offensive linemen in the huddle during games at Seattle, that shit is never going to happen here again, because they actually have the bodies now. We're not going to be having guard tryouts in week 9. We're not going to be doing it. And we got young bodies with potential and we have unproven players. We got guys, we got our new Inseki and Cornelius Lucas. He's going to be a good swing tackle, or our starting right tackle. We shall see. I like the depth here.
Yeah, I do too. It just slightly concerns me just a little bit, just because I was very comfortable with the offensive line heading into the season with Morgan here. Letting him go, that does add another question mark, because right now there are 3 question marks. A lot of people are saying the offensive line is solidified. I don't believe that. I think there are 3 spots right now that are up for grabs for anybody to take on the offensive line. You're talking about Eric Flowers, Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles, Sam Cosme, Cornelius Lucas, Charles Leno. So many options there. It's really, really hard. But I will say, I am comfortable, especially in the interior of the offensive line. Bringing Eric Flowers and exchanging 7th-round picks for him was a steal. I don't care how poorly he played last season. Him getting plugged into this lineup is serious. What about you, Corey?
Oh, yeah, I think that that Eric Flowers deal, it reminds me of Deshaun Golson back in 2015. The Bucs paid most of that, and we're paying most of that now. We're paying the least amount of that. So I think that's great. As far as depth, now I'm not going to disrespect Morgan Moses that much, because let's be honest with it, they got 94 consecutive starts.
Trooper.
The dude was a soldier. He was a soldier. And it is very, I don't want to disrespect any Jags when I compare a bona fide scrub that TLC wrote the song about in Jaron Christian. We didn't even know where this guy was in 2018. He was like the last draft pick to sign. So I'm not going to touch that. But the depth, Flowers, Lucas, I don't even want, can I just get a drive out of him? Instead of 2 plays, I need a drive. Just see a drive, even if it's a 4 and out.
Give me a drive.
Just want to see, just give me one drive. Like I said, one rib. I want one drive. And But I do think it's going to be Cosme out there on the right side because youth. It's a youth movement. Yeah. Leno there. You got the veteran, but these guys are in Roulier. We don't have to worry about the center. That's the only thing we don't really need to talk about. But there's trial by fire on this offensive line, and with John Matsko, who is a better offensive line coach than Bill Callahan, no doubt about it. We've seen it. I am confident in any lineup that they send out there, but I do think it will be Leno, Flowers, Roulier, Sheriff if healthy, and then Cosme.
I like it, dude. I like Corey so much. I just love all your answers. But now, that being said, let's move on to our fan questions and Would You Rather. So this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. Our first one is from Scott Martin, another recent fan ambassador, going to be joining with you, Rio. He asked,
welcome to the club.
Yes, congratulations, Scott. That's awesome. Who will be the second leading receiver in targets this year for the Washington football team, Rio?
That's a good one. The easy answers would be maybe Curtis Samuel, but I'm going to be bold and say that it's De'Ami Brown. I'm going to say that De'Ami Brown is going to get most of the work on the outside opposite Terry McLaurin, and they were prepared to draft him sooner than they actually took him. And when he fell, it was just like a match made in heaven. I think he's going to be more than just a deep ball threat like a Deshaun Jackson. I think Terry going to get his route tree right. I'm going De'Ami Brown. I probably should have said Logan Thomas or a running back, but we don't have check down Jesus behind center anymore. So I expect the ball go down the field a little bit. I'm gonna go De'Ami Brown, the rookie, lock it in.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be Logan Thomas. And the reason I do say that is because Mike Gesicki had a bounce-back year last year, a really proven year with Ryan Fitzpatrick back there. He was targeting him heavily throughout the season. So, getting accustomed to this team, I really do feel like it's going to be Logan Thomas because Ryan Fitzpatrick can easily get the ball to his boy. I think that's going to be the case, especially in second in targets. The first in targets, I think, is going to be the hardest one for everybody. Because I know that everyone wants to say Terry McLaurin, but with Scott Turner getting Curtis Samuel back and being that kind of moving piece all around the formation, maybe he does get a lot of targets. Maybe the yardage won't be there, but maybe he will be first in targets. Who do you think will be second in targets, Corey, this season for the receivers?
Well, I started the fan club, so I'm agree with both. I'm agree with you, Kyle. I think it's going to be Logan Thomas. Yeah. I really do. He'll be a check down for folks, and I like Logan a lot. And I think Curtis Samuel, you're going to see him in the backfield, kind of like what he did to us. Yeah. In the Carolina game.
He made Darby look bad.
Yeah, and we made Darby look good all season. Yeah. So send us some of that money. We need finder's fee. We got that free agency fee. Yeah, that's right. The agents of the Washington football team. But no, I like Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I do. That's really smart. With De'Ami Brown, if he did lead, was second in receptions, that would be insane for the Washington. That really means they're stretching the field. And speaking of stretching the field, Scott's next question was the over-under for 4,000 passing yards total for all Washington football team quarterbacks, Corey.
Ooh, gosh. The over-under?
4,000.
So I'm going 4,000. I'll say over this year.
That should be easy, right? It should be easy to get over 4,000.
Yeah, it should be.
It's sad that we have to.
Yeah. I thought you wanted us to set it. I was going to be like 3,500, maybe.
I'll go with the under. The only reason I say I do think that they'll pound the rock a lot. I think they've really added to the offensive line, and they'll kind of expel the passing game a little bit. I'll just go slightly under. I know that's kind of putrid when you're talking about the NFL because on average you should be getting 4,000 yards, but you never know what can happen. So I'll say under.
For me, it's funny that you asked this. I mean, it's funny that you asked this. Like, I just put out a graphic the other day on Twitter because in our group chat, me and Pascal and Deontay from the Tay and Todd podcast, my guy Jalen from Bleeding B&G, and my boy Alex, we did Ryan Fitzpatrick predictions the other day. Oh. No, we did best case scenario predictions. Like, if everything goes right, what's his numbers going to be like? And Mike, My line was 4170 passing yard, 31 touchdowns, and 13 picks. So I'm taking the over. I'm smashing it. I'm locking it in, and I'm hoping he keep the job for all 17 weeks if he wins it in camp.
That's a really good prediction. I like that. 30-13. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, his best career year. That would be awesome for him. Mm-hmm. Now, Scott Hartley, the Inquirer from the UK. Oi! His question for us is, you are the GM with $10 million carrying over into the 2022 season, and Jonathan Allen has been signed on. Who are you making a priority to sign, Terry McLaurin or Daron Payne, Corey?
Oh, don't do that,
yeah,
Scott.
That's a good
God.
one.
Oh my
So
God.
you've already got Jonathan Allen signed to an extension. You got $10 million carrying over to 2022, and you have to sign either Daron Payne or Terry McLaurin.
Oh, that's easy for me.
I'm gonna go with Scary. Because you can franchise Daron, so I'm gonna go Scary Terry in that situation.
Next year is Daron's fifth-year option year, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So yeah, you'd be good in that. Let him play that out. Yeah.
Well, let's just hypothetically just say that fifth-year option wasn't available. Let's just hypothetically.
Oh, don't do that. Let's change the rules in the middle of the board game.
I agree with you, Corey. I think it's Terry by far. It's Terry, because the one aspect. What was the one part of the offense that they really went after to add depth to and add some quality talent
to help them out?
The wide receiving core. Now with Daron Payne in that 2022 place, what you can do is you can allow Daron Payne to walk and then re-sign Tim Settle for very, very cheap. Obviously, Tim Settle is not the same player as Daron Payne. I'm not saying that. But there are ways to be able to navigate it with downplaying the damage that you're taking from a defensive standpoint, if that makes sense. What do you think, Rio?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Terry, even though I think Daron's the most talented one on the interior D-line that we have, and he's the most tooled up. But this is a situation we're about to run into. Our fans don't want to hear it. They're like, keep it away. Don't talk. I don't want to hear this negativity.
It's coming, dude.
Don't wish that evil on me.
It's like the iceberg for Titanic. It's coming, dude.
Exactly. You see it, and it's the inevitable fate that is coming for us. We have two bookend young edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jonathan Allen about to be paid. We also have Matt Ioannidis on that interior D-line and Tim Settle. Daron Payne could eventually be the odd man out because there's not money for everyone. Mm-hmm. Terry McLaurin, you have to sign him. There's no question you have to get him done because he also epitomizes everything Ron wants to build here culture-wise. He's one of the hardest workers on the team. He's everything as advertised. And at the end of the day, the defensive line, there's too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to money at the end of the day. And you're going to have to make a decision about one of them. Jonathan Allen's like actually one of the spiritual leaders on the team. So I don't see him going anywhere. So we're going to have a discussion about Daron Payne, even though I hate to say it, I love Daron Payne.
Yeah. I love to hear Terry and Curtis Samuel and their pressers talk about Terry going fishing when he was in college. He had no idea what he was doing, but now he fishes all the time, taking them out on boats. It's just fact that Terry is that kind of personality that goes out of the realm of what he's normal with and just starts something new. You know, that kind of personality is really infectious, and that energy is really cool to see. Now,
I love that he also has an edge to him too, because when he's out there, he's talking too. Like he's telling them, he's talking to cornerbacks. I love to see that edge too.
Yeah, you remember that Diggs when he burned Diggs, that smile caught by the video.
Oh,
and he rocked the baby. He rocked the baby on him once he scored. I love it, man.
You gotta kill him with kindness. I love Terry so much. Now, Scott's next one is a would you rather. And this one is, would you rather be put in a maximum security federal prison with the hardest of criminals for 1 year, or would you rather be put in a relatively relaxed prison where like the Wall Street types are held for 10 years?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So would you rather go to maximum security for 1 year have cupcake prison for 10 years?
Oh, I'm definitely going to cupcake prison. I'm going to Martha Stewart getaway prison. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like a retreat. It's a decade retreat. I probably gonna have my kids come and play with me at the retreat. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a flat screen in my cell with my DirecTV with NFL Sunday ticket, feet kicked up. I'm probably wearing jerseys on Sunday. Give me that. I don't want to. I am not built for maximum security. I mean, I'm not built for like to be in jail with
You're not
like serial killers or anything. I'm not like, I mean, size wise, sure. I'm not built to be around those type of people mentally. I'm good. I will pass on that. Like I will pass on being around the people that we see on the news. Like I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'll be like fish and half baked when I go in there. Everyone will be looking at me saying, "Oh, fresh meat, fresh meat." No, I would not want to go to maximum security, dude. If I'm doing anything, I'm doing the 10 years in the easy for one reason and one reason alone. I'm trying to link up with people like Martha Stewart. I'm trying to make connections for those 10 years. So when I get out, I'm trying to make some money. And
what you're saying is we're potting from the cell.
Yeah. So without a doubt, I'm going to relax. I'm going to the easy 10 years.
Yeah, that ain't y'all said everything about that. I'm making cereal bars. I'm doing everything. Probably gonna have on the warpath from behind bars and everything. It's gonna be good. Maybe OJ might come in and play golf with me and tell me how he did it, or if he didn't do it, I'll be writing it. Martha Stewart, we be in Snoop. They'll come up in there and everything, right. And maybe arts and craft day. That'll be a good day, Ray. I'll be watching Washington doing some pottery and everything.
Right. So, all right, so this last one from Scott, this one is a doozy. And just to give you guys a heads up for the On the Warpath folks that are listening, I know this kind of seems like out of the football world, but this is kind of what we do with our Would You Rathers. We like to get creative with it. So I want to give you that warning before I go with Scott's last one. Is that, would you rather wake up each morning to find that a random animal appendage has replaced your non-dominant arm, or permanently replace your bottom half with an animal bottom of your choice? And he says he wants you to think long and hard about the realities of it. He's not thinking. He's saying not just a centaur. I know this is at there.
What?
Hey, I just want to tell Scott you had some time today.
Dude, I love Scott's questions, dude. They're great. Look, I'll start this one out. Would you rather have like a random on your non-dominant arm or bottom half? I guess bottom half, because I could wear pants and nobody would notice. If you have if you have something on your arm, most likely somebody's gonna notice that.
Oh my gosh, them fish and chips across the pond ain't no joke, man. I'm telling you, Scott. Great day in the morning. I don't know. I think the arm might be a good one, because you never know. You could wake up with a bear claw one day, a lion claw, right, a wing or something. And if you got hungry, you could just deep fry that thing, just like Popeyes or KFC, depending on churches, maybe. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I can't let the I don't know. I like my legs, and if I got if I got chicken butt or something, I wouldn't be able to put pants on. So, yeah.
Trying to centaur it up, bro.
Right.
I'm definitely going with the arms, man. Like I can't mess around with the lower body, man. Like I'm good. Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna wake up with, man. I could wake up with like gator lower body or something.
That is a great point. My wife would be highly disappointed.
You know what I'm saying? I have a wife. That would probably disrupt the mating process heavily. So she can deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to have to cuddle her with the other arm, because I don't know what's going. I might come out like Mr. Krabs one day. I have pinchers. Like I don't know what it's going to be on the arms, but I'll take it. It's just one part. I'll take the one extremity being something crazy rather than having the lower body of question mark. I'm good.
All right, so that's the last of our really fun questions. Ooh, I just want to give you guys a heads up.
He brought it.
He did. Now, Sharp by Washington wants to know, on a scale from 1 to 10, Rio, how concerned are you with Gibson's turf toe?
Yeah, I'll say like a 7.5, because I've actually had turf toe before. I swear this is the most not talked about serious injury that there is, because it's not like most injuries that has a recovery timetable. Like that shit can linger, and it sounds so goofy. Turf toe. Like, what is turf toe? Your toe be out there hanging crazy. Like, it hurts to put on a shoe, but we expect you to go out there and run for 200. Like, it definitely concerns me, but he seems to be moving well. He seems to be honest about the process. And I'm sure they're not going to give him more than what he can handle, because our old training staff isn't here right now. So I'll say 7.5, which is concerning, but not like emergency 9 or 10.
I would say a 4, sharp eye. And the reason I say that is a lot to what Rio just said. If they were lying about it and trying to cover that up a little bit, that would mean that it's more serious than it really is, right? And so them, by doing this and talking about it, really says that he's probably on the back end of it. And this happened in December that he said to the media. He's been recovering from it ever since. He's still recovering from it. But like you said, Rio, we saw him in practice. He looked really good. He looked normal. He looked fine. He's quick with his feet. Doesn't seem like he's putting too much weight on that toe to the point where it's like causing him dysfunction. So in my opinion, I'm not that concerned, because if it was that big of an injury, they would have done something beforehand to make sure that he was set up and ready to go for the season. They wouldn't put him onto the field if he wasn't ready to go.
Oh, yeah, especially in voluntary workouts. You're not going to have him out there where he doesn't need to be if he wasn't ready to go. Corey, what do you think about Antonio Gibson's turf toe? What's your 1 through 10?
Well, I think I'm going to give my cat turf toe here in a minute if he don't stop jumping behind it. I give it a 3. It's June right now, so I'm not too worried about it now. And if he starts talking about this in July, I'm gonna raise up a red flag and be like, oh, okay, now we something worried about. But and kind of what you said, Rio, it doesn't have a timetable, but you would think maybe with a little bit of time, it may kind of subside, because when he had that injury in November, so you're talking about almost 10 months from the time that he had it. So with 9 months, so maybe I'll be good. Come July, if we still talking about it, I'm gonna have I might have a stroke or something.
Yeah, that will definitely increase. Yeah, without a doubt that will. If it's in late July and it's still a concern, putting any weight on it is a concern. That's going to be a huge issue.
I'm gonna just need him in his off time between now and training camp to stay off his feet. Don't do anything athletic and just relax. I don't need him out here making his toe look like the toe from the Clumps Nutty Professor. Like, I don't need that. I don't need it.
That is
Cletus, they done got in the garbage down again. Shoot the dog. I ain't gonna shoot no dog. I'm not gonna shoot that dog. Don't shoot him down. Hercules. That he's gonna be a little Hercules.
Hercules. I love
Sherman,
that part.
Sherman. Gibson.
Eddie Murphy deserves way more respect than he gets right now.
Sure.
Now, before we get into our rest of our Would You Rathers and fan questions, I wanted to bring our newest segment to the show. And what this is called the Freestyle session. And so what it is, I've given fans the ability, I've asked them a question and asked them to make a video kind of explaining that question, then we'll discuss it. I want to ask you guys what you think, but also the fans watching. If you have any input, if you want to answer this question, feel free to comment in the comment section, DM us, whatever have you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So let's go to Scott with what he thinks with the question I asked him is, with the lowest amount of cap hit, who will be the most productive player on the Washington football team this season? Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi guys, Scott Hartley, the Inquirer here from the UK. Oi! Just involved in this new segment of the show, the Freestyle. So Kyle's asked me a couple of questions to give you answers to, and the first one was, who will make the biggest contribution with the smallest cap hit on the squad? Now, for me, that's an easy one. It's a bit of a cop-out, but it's an easy one. It's Terry McLaurin. Terry's only due $850,000 this year, just over a $1 million cap hit. Obviously, massive potential this year again, especially with Fitzmagic throwing him the ball. We're looking at Pro Bowl numbers and, even all-pro talent there.
All right, and we just heard from Scott Hartley. He said Terry McLaurin would be the most productive wide receiver, most productive player without the biggest cap hit. I think that makes a lot of sense. There's not many people you could really pick, but I think that's the best selection for Scott. Do you agree with him, Rio, or do you have somebody else in mind?
What's Terry's number on the year?
It's $1 million.
A $1 million. So we're paying Bobby McCain, the safety we just signed, less than that, correct? It was something crazy, like $850,000.
It was vet minimum,
that. Yep, veteran minimum. You know what? I'm gonna go with Bobby McCain just because I think he's gonna be he's gonna be the starting free safety. He's gonna be pretty much making NFL minimum wage, and if he produces anything at all, that's a bang for your buck, and you hit on another free agent pick that would be low key for most teams. So I'm going with Bobby McCain.
Yeah, I'll go with Sam Cosmi. based on what you guys have told me, how you feel that he'll start on the offensive line, coming in as a rookie, not making that much money as a second rounder, coming in and starting immediately on the offensive line at either tackle position, that's productivity for very, very, very cheap. And it's kind of what the Ron Rivera and staff is kind of doing, going cheap and getting a lot of production, i.e. Logan Thomas last year. Who do you have, Corey?
I'm going to go with our surprise pick from the 7th round last year, because I imagine his number is even lower. Cameron Curl.
Yeah.
I think when you get him out there and you get him by Bobby McCain, I think that this guy is going to have that production. He's going to reach out for what he did last year and just add on to it, man. So I like I'll stay defense, and I'm going to go with that strong safety, man, because he plays strong, boy. And you ain't going to have to – I think that cap number is probably something stupid low. So
yeah, it is. What a great one. I'm not even thinking of Cam Curl, and you're absolutely right about that, Corey. 88 tackles last season, second leading on the team as a strong safety rookie, not even playing all 16 games. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Three picks.
Yeah. Pick six, too.
And a house call. Hell yeah. San Fran.
And our next one is from good fan and friend of the pod, Meast21. I asked him, essentially, what position battle are you most looking forward to happening in training camp? Let's hear what he has to say.
The position battle I'm looking forward to the most also has the biggest question marks, which happens to be receivers 3 through 7. More importantly, receiver 3. With the speed of McLaurin and Samuel, that will prevent double teams, cause them mismatches in the slot, and it will elevate the play of receiver 3 tremendously. And whether that is a proven slot receiver in Adam Humphries or rookie dynamic Diami Brown, expect a huge season from receiver 3.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, we just heard from Meast, and he picked a wide receiver group. That is the position that he is most intrigued to look at for that position battle heading into training camp. I can't disagree with him. That's a great selection. There's so much depth now at the wide receiver position. Last year there was nobody there. It just seems like there's too many guys at this point. Do you agree with him, Rio, that the wide receiver group is the one that you're most excited to see?
I mean, that'll probably be the most vigorous competition out of what we have on the roster right now. But I'm excited to see what we're doing at safety, because this 7th round rookie that Corey just actually brought up, Cameron Curl, he threw a wrench into the plan. That and Collins getting hurt, and on top of Collins getting hurt, he didn't look too good at all when he was playing. But I have to envision that Jack Del Rio has a vision for what Landon Collins can be in this defense. We got Bobby McCain, who I think is going to start at the free. Jeremy Reeves showed promise last year at the free. I don't want to see Troy Apke on this roster anymore.
Derek Forrest has been making plays every day.
Yeah. Forrest is catching a pick every day in practice. Yep. I love to see it. I'm not going to get too excited yet because Moreland did the same thing and it still hasn't translated on Sundays. But I think the safety position is going to be a slugfest in the practices and training camp and the preseason games. We're probably going to have to tell them boys to step back a little bit. They might be trying to take heads off once those bullets start flying.
That's hysterical. I'll say the one that I'm most intrigued by and interested in is that left guard position. The reason I say that is because I do believe that Sadiq Charles will take that because of how well he could play. Even before the draft, I said I don't think he's a starting left tackle right away.
Mitch Titchler got to you, huh?
Yeah, he did. No, but for real, I even said before pre-draft, just the way he plays, just his footwork and everything just seems like he'd be a better guard, right away, especially in a COVID year without the on-the-field coaching that he was able to get in the summer. Seeing him go in there at left guard and the possibility of him being like one of the a Brandon Sheriff type of guy, I think is really going to elevate this run game, because how long with Washington? When's the last time we had a dominant left guard? When's the last time we had a dominant running game?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. And if Sadiq Charles could come in and be the player that he was drafted to be at the left guard spot, I think we're going to be able to run the ball at will anytime that we want. And that's going to really transcend this offense, because you're telling Ryan Fitzpatrick that he has the ability of play action with the offensive weapons they have here. It's game over.
Man, thinking of Randy Thomas now when you said left guard. Yeah. If he could have just stayed healthy a couple of times. I'm going linebacker, man. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to be Jamin. We're going to be Jamin at that on the training camp there, boy.
Jamin.
Jamin, yeah, man. Rasta. Cole Holcomb, That's gonna be a good one. Landon Collins. Jack, don't at me. But I like Bostic Market over there. I mean, he just I love it. Yeah, because he delivered the meatloaf to Andy Dalton awesome. That time. Yeah, meatloaf. Just bam, shoot.
Corey, you're a genius.
No, I'm not. I just play one on TV.
He said Bostic Martin. Oh, shoot. That's hysterical.
But I'm looking forward to see if we see Shaka Tony stand up, man, and be what he might be able to become. I'm looking forward to seeing what we have in the linebacker room and some of these guys that what Jamin will add and Cole and just what did we lose with KPL, honestly. Did we lose anything, or should we have maybe gave him? I'm doing this for a question. You know how I like the question.
Rhetorical. I know it's rhetorical. I just had to say it.
Allow me to retort in the words of Samuel Jackson. So.
I'll do it again. All right. Now, Brian's question for us, and this is a good one because now in the first season that they're going to only have 3 preseason games. He wants to know, do we think the starters will play most of that third and final preseason game, Corey?
No. I think you'll see him in game 2 because that's usually the one that we'll see it. And you never know. You might not see the starters at all because a lot of them complain about this 17th game. Even though they knew it was written into the CBA, they were still complaining about it. I think that you'll see game 2, maybe game 1. You may see them run a little bit longer than we would typically see them in the first game, and then you won't see them at all at 3. So,
I think you're absolutely right. I think what you'll see is probably game 1, you'll see maybe a couple drives. Then game 2, I think we'll see probably 2 to 3 quarters of the starters, and then game 3, maybe a drive, maybe if that. Like you said, it's the first year of the 17-game schedule. No reason to get somebody injured before the season starts in that third preseason game. Doesn't make any sense at all. What do you think, Rio?
Yeah, I also go with the second week, and I think it may be even less of the starters than we're projecting. Yeah. I don't see Fitzpatrick playing more than a quarter and a half in that game too. I don't expect to see more than 5 series of Fitzpatrick in the preseason. That's going to be the Taylor Heineke show. I think the dress rehearsal game is going to be the second one. I believe ours is at home versus Cincinnati. I will be there. That should be a good time. Yeah. And hopefully we do get to see a half or 3/4 of the starters in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Now our next question is from Deers and Beers, my man Eric. He wants to know, what player are you most impressed with at camp right now, Corey?
Oh, man, I think it's got to be the good things that you're hearing about De'Ami Brown. I really do. I think both of these young receivers could possibly could make some noise there. But De'Ami and what he's doing, speed, instant. I think he could bring the best of what Aldrick Robinson did in 2012 and with just a sprinkle of 89 in him. And if we can get just a little bit of that, I think good God, it'll be a religious experience at FedEx Field.
I know it's a cop-out answer. I'm going with Jamin Davis. Just purely based on the fact that he's coming out and he's playing as the Mike linebacker. He's breaking the huddle. He's calling the plays. He's checking the line of scrimmage. He's getting guys in position. And he's only been here a couple weeks, guys. That is incredibly impressive for a guy who a lot of the intellectuals that's on Washington Twitter told you, oh, he's a Sam linebacker. That's what he is. He's Sam, and he's a Will. No, this guy is a Mike linebacker. That's what they brought him in for. And I love the fact that they're putting a lot on his plate right now. And yes, he still has ways to go. But the fact is that he is embracing it. He is absorbing it like a sponge. Says a lot about him. I am most impressed with Jamin Davis. What about you, Rio?
See, I don't like to get too high or too low on these fake practices that don't even count. My guy Chase is like, look, I'll see y'all when I need to be there. My status as celebrity has obligations that y'all would not understand exist. So, but I'm going to have to agree with my guy, Kyle. It's Jamin Davis. He looks the part. He is a mammoth monster of a man. The dude is a big brick house that moves at the speed of De'Ami Brown. at the middle of our defense. Yes, he ran a faster 40 than De'Ami Brown. That's the middle linebacker. He was built to call plays. Yep. He's a military guy. He's cool. Like, he's level-headed, and he just wants to be great. He doesn't want to put too much expectations on himself. He's all about the action, and I love what I've seen and heard from him so far during training camp. I'll be looking for a Jamin Davis report every day because I think he's ready to take this job and run with it.
My man Rio, that's where we're on the same page, baby. Now, we are on to our last question, everybody, and to mark the end of the show. Charlie Gaddy wants to know, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Moreland in the long run? Was Benjamin St-Juste drafted to specifically take over outside and allow Fuller to take on the slot full time? And is Jimmy a surprise possible cut? Stay with you, Rio.
All right. I don't know if Jimmy's a possible cut because we need depth at that position, but his first thing he said, I agree 100%. I think St-Juste was a priority draft pick for them. I think they saw something not a lot of the teams see, and I think the plan is for him to start opposite William Jackson at outside corner and kick Fuller into his natural spot as a slot. We need length on the outside. I think Del Rio wants to get us more in some close-up press man defenses, and the length, athleticism combination with St-Juste and Jackson on the outside, that allows him to do that. So that's why I think we drafted St-Juste for. Jimmy needs to show us something because all the OTA training camp hype from when he came in, like I said earlier, it has not exactly translated into Sundays. He puts his head in there, he mixes it in, but I need to see better from a cornerback standpoint from Jimmy this season.
Yeah, and one thing from Benjamin St-Juste, the way that he was used at Minnesota, a lot of the times what will happen if they go wide receiver heavy on the left side and they have their tight end going strong side on the right side, what the defense will do is they'll go empty on the right side and just have Benjamin St-Juste line up on the tight end. One of the things that Cole Holcomb talked about is last year they did very poorly against tight ends. So early on in his career, I could see Benjamin St-Juste being that tight end lockdown. Just specifically, that's his job because where were they weak at last year? Guarding tight ends. So they went out and got a guy who specifically knows how to do that. But I will say, in the long run, I think you're 100% right, Rio. Because of his length, because of him being a man-to-man corner, he almost verbatim matches up with William Jackson. And if you kind of have two lockdown guys who could play man-to-man coverage, long-armed, long-bodied, if you have them outside, you're putting yourself in a very good position to succeed. We saw that with the Legion of Boom with Richard Sherman and what's his name?
Brandon
Browning.
That's exactly who I think of when I think of St-Juste.
Yep.
And what he could do.
I think you're absolutely right about that, Rio. Just for this year, I don't think that Moreland in the long run, because he's probably brought in from the previous regime, we've kind of seen that Ron Rivera doesn't want to keep the old guys around. He wants to change the face of everything, start a winning culture, right? And unfortunately, in the long run, I don't think Moreland's going to be here very long, but I don't think it'll be a surprise cut like Rio said. We need the depth.
I think I agree with y'all, and let's not forget what Kendall Fuller, what happened to him in that playoff game when he went up against Mike Evans. He got Bama slapped. So we don't want no more Bamas on there. So you got to put St-Juste. If you put St-Juste up there with Mike Evans, he might get beat a couple of times, but it's going to be a good matchup, I think. And to Cole's point as well, like you said, Kyle, we couldn't cover tight ends. Yep. We could not cover tight ends. I mean, tight ends were running through us like if we were at a hotel running up HBO. That's as much as the tight ends was running with us. So I can't. I like St-Juste. I like him. He had that issue at Michigan where they thought he was going to retire from football altogether. He came out there. Dude's going to battle. He looks like he's going to be something special, and I look forward to seeing what he's got.
Yeah, he has good confidence too. I like it. He does a good head on his shoulder.
Yes, he
does. Canadian confidence, man. That Canadian confidence right there. He's going to be polite, and he's going to pick you off at the same time, hopefully.
Yeah, I know Derek Forrest has been kind of like stole the show from everybody. But Benjamin St-Juste has made some plays at training camp as well, and he stood out, and I love that one. All right, everybody, that's going to mark the end of this show. I can't thank you guys enough, specifically Rio and you, Corey. I can't thank you guys for joining together with me, being able to pull off this episode. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. Your charisma, your energy, it's off the charts. Having you two in here, dude, I just feel stuffed.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do. We aim to please.
Yeah, it's a blast being on here with you guys. Like I said, I am not worthy. I'm not worthy of you two being in y'all's presence. So when Rio's rubbing arms with Ron next year,
Right.
and Jason. Then I know Kyle got him on speed dial like the bat phone, so
sure.
It's like, hey, we gotta get this up. So, but it's been a blast. I know my folks on the Warpath are gonna love this, have loved this. So thank you for like getting us all together, man. So this is awesome.
Yeah, hey,
I appreciate both of y'all too, man. Like as a new up and coming podcast, like I've seen all the content you guys put out, all the hard work y'all do. And that's the type of stuff that inspires me to get into the game of content creation for this team that we obsess about so much. I appreciate both of y'all, man.
Hey, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate the kind words, guys. And if you guys haven't already, which I'm sure you already have since Corey and Rio are celebrities, but Rambling About Washington, that is Rio's podcast you could check out. I believe you're on iTunes podcast.
I'm on everything. Apple, Spotify, Google, the whole Rambling About Washington, Rio_Robinson91 and at Raw Podcast W Rio, all social media platforms.
Yes, sir. And then where can they find on the Warpath, Corey, if they don't know where to find you?
Hey, you can find it on YouTube on the Warpath. Say that the Burgundy Zone sent you. And y'all know I'm quick on comments up in there. And also you can find me at Sanchez405 on all social media platforms. And we are in there. We're everywhere. We're like air. We're just everywhere. And we're growing every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys were fantastic. All right, everybody. We will see you again on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Washington football. Hey!
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody.
That was good, man. That was
fun. That was fun.
Yeah. That was fun as hell. That was a great job for saying let's do this.
What's up, everybody? It's your man Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. I hope you enjoyed the last video as much as we did. If you like what you saw, please like the video by clicking the thumbs up symbol and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continuing to do what we do and making great content for y'all. If you want to stay up to date on new episodes, make sure you click on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.